The second rank of Fallout 4's Pickpocket perk allows you to place explosives into your enemy's pockets, which is as fun as it sounds, but it can be hard to do, and unlike Fallout New Vegas, you won't be getting any XP for your efforts. This is not a highly useful perk, and no one wanting a fun playthrough would attempt to beat Fallout 4 using this perk as their only way of dealing damage. But I'm not looking for fun, I'm out for pain. Willing to do whatever it takes to know, can you beat Fallout 4 by only reverse pickpocketing explosives? Dedicated in honor of Paul from Mitten Squad, may you rest in peace. The rules of the challenge are that I must be able to complete a Fallout 4 playthrough using a reverse pickpocketing as my only direct damage method. I can't bring companions with me for the purpose of killing targets, but if I'm forced to be with them for a quest, then that doesn't count. I can craft things, consume anything, pick locks, hack terminals, and environmental kills are allowed. So if a car takes damage and explodes, it's all G. I begin as a goth GF turned housewife. Life is finally looking up, and I'm as sassy as ever. I get 2 strength, which I'll make 3 with the special book in case I want armorer, 4 perception to get locksmith, and with the bobblehead I can get demolition expert if I want to craft explosives, 4 endurance to make AP drain slower and not die every time I get caught, and 3 charisma for some riz, as well as lone wanderer to boost carry weight and take less damage. I opted for the low IQ experience, getting 5 luck for idiot savants leveling and hoping for a real luck blessing that this all works out. 9 agility for better sprinting away from angry things, the ability to outrun my husband to the vault where someone tried to steal him away before the bombs fell, access to the sneak perk, and a better ability to remain undetected via a secret unknown formula. It also adds 1% per point to your pickpocket chance, though you can't take it above 90%. I get vacuum sealed in a freezer, watch a buzz-pilled Sigma male put a bullet in my husband's brain, and begin my escape. Unable to attack, I sprinted past the rad roaches and sealed them behind closed doors so I could exit combat using stealth to then pick up the Pip-Boy and finally get some vitamin D. But before heading up, I used the pain of this tragic moment to apply more makeup, completing a 3-stage life transformation from Goth GF to Goth Housewife to Goth Widow. The emo phase truly never ends. I run to Sanctuary, ignore Codsworth because he's a literal tool, and like any traumatized mother, I immediately decide that decluttering the space is a priority. I need to be level 6 to get Pickpocket rank 2, so I need to get XP without kills. I ripped up every piece of wood and steel I could quickly find, read my child's book to fortify my strength, and scrapped their entire room. I built many fence posts and wire fences, scrapping them for half the resources they cost to make them, built them again over and over for XP until the resources were gone. My fingers were screaming in pain as I realized I had truly embraced the left curve experience and forgot to grab Idiot Savant. I somehow assumed something so integral to this playthrough was already there, like a trait, so I got it, wanted to die from having missed it, and continued the insanity. I was now as unhinged as my character. It would have been way faster if I duplicated resources, but I'm avoiding glitches for this challenge. I refused to load back, brought over the chemistry station to craft just 1 Molotov cocktail, which doesn't require perks, then bolted off for the perception bobblehead at level 13 with Idiot Savant 2, Lone Wanderer 1, Sneak 3, 2 ranks of Pickpocket, and 2 perk points to spend. I looted Red Rocket and the house on the outskirts of Concord before waiting until nighttime and closed in on my first raider. After a tense, sneaky approach, I couldn't pickpocket them at all. But in the shadows, I made my way to the entrance Preston was defending and went through to get my first reverse pickpocket kill. Or not! It seems these raiders here couldn't be pickpocketed either, which was incredibly frustrating. Maybe it's because they're engaged against Preston and the game considers him my ally. I went outside and up through the church next door for a different way in, only to find the other door to Preston was locked too. Technically, I don't need this bobblehead or to even be here to complete Fallout 4, but I'm one determined bitch and I didn't want to quit. I ran about frantically until I found these gas canisters, and with no other options, I tried to get raiders to blow themselves up, not counting as an official kill from me. Through sheer grit, I made myself a clumsy spinning top, and some actually got walked off the ledge to their death, while the rest took themselves out by attacking it. I had to use both canisters I could find. Now look, I was prepared to reverse pickpocket them all. I even found more explosives inside that I could use, but Bethesda doesn't want me to win, so I fought their bullshit with my own. Environmental deaths aren't my problem. These raiders either lost their balance or shot an explosive item while aiming for me. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and this gothic widow will not be denied. I officially despise Preston Garvey, absolutely useless. I get the bobblehead and the fusion core and I just take that power armor and leave. I don't even want the minigun. I take off into the rainy night until I finally donate a grenade to my first victims at the Drumlin Diner, enjoying front row seats courtesy of my power armor. After enjoying an immensely satisfying moment, I did some trading to get more explosives, ran down to the Jalbert Brothers' disposal to discover a location closer to Diamond City, zipped back to Sanctuary to make another Molotov, dropped off my tin can armor, and traveled back to the disposal to make a beeline straight to Piper's Meltdown. I looted some raiders along the way, ran away from others, discovered locations for more XP, and even dealt with this synth imposter situation in the only way I know how. I found 4 fusion cores in an ammo box outside Diamond City and arrived safely at the gate to throw shade at Piper and get inside. I say just what a synth would say, to get explosives and stimpaks, and followed the sign to the local detective where I was told by Ellie Perkins that Nick hasn't come back from his latest mission. I get a sweet level up, then run through the wasteland dodging radroaches, mutants, Swan who didn't seem pickpocketable unfortunately, loot his lake and then head into Park Street Station without realizing just how cooked things are about to get. Skinny Malone's crew are just crazy perceptive. At least my current build found them very hard to sneak by, especially with all the bright lights around. Is it all over? It can't be. Improvise, adapt, overcome with Blitz. What if I could actually use the 9th agility perk used to launch melee and unarmed attacks from a distance in VATS to teleport behind my targets in VATS, but then press abort to completely cancel the attack before a strike takes place? Guess I'm an idiot savant after all. Now we can cut out the foreplay and get right behind targets ready to insert our explosive. But I tell you what, these gabagool goons must have spy cams hidden in their fedoras because they're still so alert. I whack a World War II Italian hand grenade into this ghoul's suspenders and head down to the train lines where after many failed attempts, I get to the bright vault entrance without being caught. When you're used to cleaning through them with guns, it's easy to forget just how many enemies are in here, and I simply didn't bring enough bombs. I managed to hide and sneak my way to Nick, but brought the heat straight to him for the ultimate synth beatdown. I planted a deadly explosive before running again, returned to chat, and struggled to sneak out because Sticky Nick has to personally use his fingers to get this door open. It's a scripted event. I left him downed near the door, ran the enemies away, and after doing some jet and returning, he had gotten up to open it. After about an hour or so of trying to solve the problem of Nick being constantly downed again and me being unable to attack because there's no explosives to be found, I lucked out. I didn't realize what was going on. You see, Nick started talking quest dialogue and no one was discovering and attacking him. I then found out that the mobsters had become friendly. My guess is that he snuck for a few seconds, was unseen briefly, and with the game knowing I'm near the door we need to go through, Nick starts giving his quest dialogue, thereby beginning a new quest stage where Skinny Malone is ready to talk and not hostile, with his men standing down, including the ones back here with us. I couldn't believe it. Nick opened the door without bullets raining down on us. I used my new Riz booster suit to not only star in the next Joker movie, but to convince Skinny not to waste us, though one rogue triggerman didn't get the memo and kept on shooting as we escaped with my health so low it was blasting my heartbeat straight into my headphones. I really should have brought more grenades. Back in the city, I ate some comfort noodles to calm my heart and talked with Nick after looting his agency before heading to Kellogg's house, stealing the key from the mayor's safe and searching the place. I ditched Nick out the front and give Dogmeat a fresh cigar and a Zin pouch to stay focused. Gotta love Idiot Savant. I rob Arturo's house for some reason, as well as storefronts, pick up some baseballs and transform them into literal grenades back at Sanctuary with rank 1 of Demolition Expert. After the trauma of 2 vaults, I end up overcompensating by being over-prepared. I sold what I looted constantly throughout this challenge, regularly buying junk, grenades, and later stealth boys, and I just kept crafting explosives and chems to use, sell, and to get XP. I did it a lot, so I won't go into into it each time, but I did want better sneak, so I set off to quickly grab a few US covert operations manuals. I snuck into the federal ration stockpile, blew up Red to Red, and tried to blow up her buddy, but was told he'd somehow already caught me. A fatal danger in a challenge like this, honestly, if it were to happen in a quest. I stumbled across Bunker Hill before continuing to the National Guard training yard, where I was mauled by ghouls on repeat before I got the manual and pinched some T-51 power armor before fleeing across the road to the Revere satellite array. After being turned to super mutant breakfast chunks way too many times, I got the manual there and escaped. I spotted the USS Constitution from Bunker Hill and went there for a manual, though it's locked in the captain's quarters. I let Ironsides blast some scavs, which I looted. I stole the chip from them, took all the frag mines from the back area, and made myself some shadowed armor. I scrapped Sanctuary extra hard again to craft some more XP. I got Pickpocket 3 and Lone Wanderer 2, and in case I needed a fat man for secret reasons that still work within the rules of the challenge, I went to Lexington and initiated a gift exchange. Maybe you'll see me use it creatively. I upgraded my armor with more shadowed pieces, chucked a bomb in a lunchbox, and hopped back to the dog I abandoned. Dogmeat can't fight very well, so Diamond City does the work against the mole rats. I run back to them. We collect clues, Dogmeat fends off some personal rivals, gets wrecked by mutants, and somehow it gets worse as I'm forced to sit through an Elite Four Pokemon battle between Dogmeat and a Stingwing. After grinding my way to be Pokemon League champion, I get to Fort Hagen, and from memory I think to myself, I could have come here without Dogmeat, couldn't I? I snuck into the garage entrance, ditched the dog, hacked a terminal, and unleashed a Fire Brigadier Protectron who managed to wipe out a handful of synths who, praise Atom, are not too perceptive. I reverse pickpocket the remaining synths with hit-and-run tactics. Turrets can't be taken out, something I keep in mind. I introduce more synths to baseball and even use an extinguisher to make one take themselves out via the good old environmental damage technique, just because I can. The synth carnage continues until I finally loot my way to the big moment. I come face to face with Kellogg, and a huge problem. He cannot be pickpocketed. Is this challenge over? Kellogg tries talk therapy, but I ask a classic Australian question. Who opened their lunch? My lunchbox bomb is shoved into synthetic components and explodes. This expression means who farted, and I'm not sure if it's the fertilizer from the bottle cap mine or Kellogg who started Taylor Swifting on the floor. I waited for him to rise, said some threats, then ran into hiding, returning to find Kellogg standing by the other synth. I blitzed to Kellogg and rig his friend to blow. Bada bing, bada boom is what I would have said if I killed Skinny Malone like this. I harvest Kellogg's brain, strip him down for the sick fit, and emerge victoriously to see the glory of the Prydwen. Keep looting, as you do. I blow up whatever this thing is and take my findings to Nick, who sends me to the memory den with another level up, which I use on Locksmith, and of course we do not talk to Piper. I met the friendly folk of Good Neighbor, looted Dr. Amari's room in the memory den, and hopped into Kellogg's past. I learned that I must seek out the escaped Institute scientist, Virgil. I wrap my power armor in the Abraxo paint job for extra agility for sprinting or sneaking, or just to symbolize that I'm about to air out the Institute's dirty laundry. I tried to pickpocket a Deathclaw, couldn't, got slammed, ran past rad scorpions, ghouls, and united some children of Atom with the cosmos. I get pointed to Virgil and enter his cave, where I'm told I'll need to kill a Corsa to get their chip to find my son. I steal Virgil's stuff, including a stealth boy and a lunchbox. What is this loading screen? I then locked onto the Corsa signal at the ruins of CIT, blew up a radar, legged it to Green Tech Genetics, and used a stealth boy to sneak past the initial forces sent down for me. I slipped a frag grenade into an unsuspecting victim, wiping out this huge squad. The real danger has arrived. I continue to run, hide, lockpick and hack, making a mess and mugging mercs until I shut myself in this side room. Stealth got hard, so I ran for the elevator. But now, the climax. Maybe it's impossible to pickpocket him. Maybe there's no friends to blow up like I did with Kellogg. Maybe it's gonna take every stealth boy and all of my aid. Here we go. Oh. I guess that's it then. Taking a sigh of relief, I looted him and wrote directions out of here on a baseball, giving it as a souvenir to help the synth he was there for. With the adrenaline I'd been storing up put to good use, I took in the view from the roof and went back to Amari's dungeon, where I was told to seek out the railroad. Synth sympathizers, just like me. Time to follow the Freedom Trail. I settled the beef between two mutants before bringing holy fire upon the gabagools of Old North Church. I guess the password got clinically blinded, but respected as the Corsa killer. I gave Tinker Tom the chip, and Desdemona asks me if I would risk my life for my fellow man, even if that man was a synth. Influence in the railroad might be important, so I spammed some fences for level juice and helped Deacon through a painful bridge crossing, trying to get someone to kill these aggro ghouls before loading back and just doing it myself. Entering the old railroad HQ escape tunnel, a Radroach tag teams a synth with Deacon, and I removed the rest. I planted bombs, watched Deacon try to fight back, kill some but get downed, and then I'd finish them off. Another operations manual doesn't hurt either. My usual tactics see us end up with Carrington's prototype. I can now pull the HQ apart without it being theft. A stealth boy vendor is perfect too. I go to Virgil, who gives me the teleportation cheat sheet despite disapproving of people who would liberate vending machines. Now before setting up a base and building a teleporter, I built some fences to level up, made some better armor, gaining another shattered piece if I even need it, and got rid of the Corsa outfit because it's actually heavy with a weight of 15 versus Kellogg's outfit which weighs 2. Sprinting to the outpost, I get mini-nuked on repeat until I choose to slowly pick off the raiders one by one. I should have just built the relay at Sanctuary, but I've been doing missions by the book so far. There's a turret I can't get rid of, but that's a later problem. I got enough parts from Sanctuary to build turrets, repaired the broken one, and put it in a better spot. And yes, Railroad Caretaker, it's completely safe. I rigged up this Back to the Future contraption with extra messy cables for the ultimate janky look, turned in the safe house quest, and teleported to the Institute. A man named Father is my son. It's all very confusing, but I'm a good mum and forgave Sean for his weird child synth stunt. I'll help play double agent to weaken the Institute's enemies, I think. I met the division leaders, ended the secret railroad contact Patriot, and plundered the place. Dr. Lee gives me the teleportation access, and I zip out of there to haul junk between my settlements, build to level, and hey, check this out, did you know you can reverse pickpocket these craftable caltrops to instantly kill your target without making an explosive sound? They're so easy to make, and while it technically isn't explosive, maybe it is in this context. The game treats it as so with the explosive mine symbol and everything. I'll show you very, very soon. I pumped another point of agility, caught up with the railroad, and started on Patriot's big breakout plan. I dodged the robots of Cambridge Polymer Labs and snuck past the ghouls as best I could, blew this one up, got the password, engaged the emergency override, and left. Desdemona sent me back to the Institute to then help with the escape. I pickpocketed weapons to give them something to fight with, as requested, and headed down to kill some tunnel guards which would apparently just look like a construction accident. Sure, I could have used bombs, but here's how those caltrops work. Terrible cameraman moment, but there you have it. Not having to take damage from my own explosives was nice too. I reported back to our insider Synth, added some of the guards' guns to the rebellion kit, and set off for the Synth retention mission. Now it may look like I'm taking a longer road than necessary, but there's serious reasons for everything starting now, which I'll end up revealing to you. After 10 business days, X6 took out this pesky vertibird, and I used my hazmat suit to swim past the aquatic obstacle course and take everyone's favorite transport across to my targets. I did what must be done, and used the recall code to shut down Gabriel before pocketing his friend and letting X6 kill the other and zap out of there with his prize. Father gave me a crib, then sent me to a war zone where it became clear the Brotherhood of Steel does not like me, but everyone else did, which made things a lot easier. Inside the utility basement, I can't even pickpocket this Brotherhood knight. The Railroad and Institute cleaned him up though, eventually, and I got to the escaped synths, tormented them, and sent them home to be force updated to Windows 11. I exchanged some sentimental words with Sean as well as 500 caps he handed me before saying peace out. At the directorate meeting, Father explains he's literally dying and wants to make me the leader. Justin Ayo freaks out, and it is what it is. The synth in the corner heard everything. I'm sent to Ali for the mass fusion mission and tell her no way is she coming. But I'd been thinking ahead and I'm not prepared. I've got big shoes to fill as a future leader. It's time to raise my IQ. I go to Boston Library, don my Rizzler fit to talk my way in, receive a grenade bouquet and get the intelligence bobblehead. I throw a teddy bear to invading mutants, loot the robots and corpses, and continue my mission to get smart. It's going to be a must. I set off to do my little railroad missions for XP and Ballistic Wave. A raider at the plaza blew himself up and I snuck in, getting loot like a piggy bank mine before sending my target to hell. I went to the next mission to get the DIA cash, got blown up in an elevator, used a stealth boy to avoid that repeating, and got the goods. I got bitten by a mozzie, disarmed the mines along this bridge, and then climbed this mutant-infested building and became an acrobat to take out the boss, plant Tom's device, and get some precariously positioned booze. I turned all my completed missions in, took everything from the safe house back to Sanctuary, and went insane with wire fences, pushing myself over level 24. My special plan has one more level to go if we even want a chance of finishing this Fallout 4 challenge. How about we build something to be semi-proud of? Or not. It took way too long. I pumped another half level, traded with many vendors looking for ballistic wave junk, but all I got was this cool explosion. I just decided to buy a shipment from Cleo, then hopped to another railroad quest, getting the dead drop, meeting Stockton, clearing out a church of raiders, and then I helped escort a synth to safety with an agent named Highrise. At this point, it really does seem like I can't pickpocket enemies when they're engaged in a firefight with a quest ally. It's still my best guess as to why I had trouble around Preston. My quest friends handled themselves, I got to Tycon and stripped the place down. Idiot Savant popped out back at HQ. I got junk from Carla and decided Mark II weave is enough. Suddenly, the Rizzler fit becomes the default. I even armored the hat, getting a total of 90 damage and energy resistance. I have these fashionable glasses for extra charisma if I couldn't look worse. I pack a lunchbox and enact my big plan. I dumped all these perk points into intelligence and the hacker perk, getting the ability to hack master level terminals, and as far as I can foresee, unlock my only way forward with mass fusion. Hopefully. I teleported to the top of the mass fusion building, stealthed my way upstairs, took the password and ID card from the desk, used it in the room with the terminal, then went down to take the elevator. Now everyone was on high alert, but I did manage to get the elevator power back on by hacking this terminal, but that's not why I thought I needed the 3 ranks of hacker. A trusty stealth boy got me to the next elevator and down to the reactor room. Watch this. Before taking the beryllium agitator, I hacked this master level terminal to open the door here where the sentry bot hides. I then used the terminal in there to disable the security of the entire level, meaning no sentry bots, no assaultrons and protectrons, and no turrets. You can't pickpocket sentry bots and assaultrons, you know I can't kill turrets, and you have to kill all enemies to escape, as that ID card won't even work until you do, and if I brought Allie here, there's no way she'd be able to beat them all herself. Also, if you don't disable the security before taking the agitator, you can't do it at all even if you hack the terminals after. I got decontaminated, took the agitator, left without being annihilated, took the lift up, and exited the building. I made sure Allie knows she wasn't needed before Father tells me to go kidnap someone for the good of humanity. I get some XP heading past Grey Garden, do my classic move on these gunners before synths show up and wipe out the stragglers. My charming outfit failed to help me calm a megamind science whiz who the Institute wants. Instead, it let me play bad cop and he cooperated. Mission accomplished, I guess. I recorded a speech to let the Commonwealth know that the Institute is here to stay, got it pumping from Diamond City, activated the reactor while Father glazed the cores, took part in a meeting where I agreed the Brotherhood needs to be hit hard, and then got urgent word from our railroad moles that the Brotherhood is about to attack them. Warn Desdemona. I run to Father and he says, oh, by the way, can you kill Desdemona? Well, as much as I might want to just let the Brotherhood wipe them out, I believe I actually need the railroad alive a little longer. Helping with their response to the Brotherhood attack might be extremely difficult, but I think it's the only way I can complete this challenge now. I chose to warn. I got into a great spot and planted the perfect frag, taking out the power armor princess and wounding his less armored buddies. I ran into HQ and the railroad easily finished them off. I made a run for glory, but she died and I wiped out the rest coming through the tunnels using stealth, running around pillars with others, and ultimately I cleared the church with some lengthy tactics. There's a reason I've been collecting so many explosives and stealth boys. Cambridge Police Station is where we need to go, and it's going to be absolutely crawling with Brotherhood, and I'll need to delete them all to steal the bird off the roof. However, I don't want Tinker Tom and Deacon to put me in a spot where I can't pickpocket people. Instead of meeting up with them, I ran off ahead and took out many targets outside. At one point, I even fast traveled out and back in. As much hiding as it took, I made sure the targets on the roof exploded before heading down to eliminate more outside. It wasn't easy, and inside was even harder. An extinguisher just wouldn't get destroyed by the turret, but everyone else got their pants blown off. Leaving from the garage and killing this guy glitched everything, and Deacon wouldn't run to the station to go with us. It was just broken, so I loaded back and left this last garage guy alive. Met up with Tinker and Deacon, brought them here, and then killed this guy. The crew heads inside, Deacon decides he wants to remove the turrets, and then we get on the roof. Turns out we can't leave until the vertibird is destroyed, and thankfully after I destroyed the power armor tanks they dropped down, Deacon had an appetite for blasting at the bird itself. Now I thought it would take forever for him to kill it, but it seems he just got lucky and hit the pilot while I wasn't looking, and it blew up behind me as usual, way before the actual vehicle health could be depleted. Onto the vertibird. We're actually going to do it. We're going to destroy the Brotherhood of Steel. I put on the uniform and walked inside, a classic front door approach. And I looted some stuff, slept for an entire day, then planted the bombs. I didn't get caught, so Maxim was nowhere to be seen, and off we fly. No Gatling lasers or laser rifles filling the sky. Down goes the Prydwen. Beautiful, isn't it? Idiot Savant procs when I turn in the quest, not that I'll need it, and Desdemona lets me know it's time to take out the Institute. I tell her not yet, just give me a moment to prepare. I have one final trade with Tinker Tom. Thank you for all the stealth boys and bombs. I really needed them, and I still do. I put 3 levels into endurance because why not at this point? And so begins the ultimate betrayal. Thankfully, they were pickpocketable. A piggy bank for Desdemona. I had some issues trying to blitz to the dock. Not sure why, but enjoy. Eventually, loading back, I don't register an instant kill on him, and I gift him a frag. I hide, then freeze Tom solid. A cryogenic death bestowed upon an innocent friend from an evil mother with cryogenic trauma. Ice cold. I hit again, but it seems you don't have to kill the less important railroad characters. I still gave this agent a baseball, but where is my map marker pointing me? Wait a minute. The final target is Deacon. He hasn't come back yet. I leave the drummer boy alone to cry with the corpses, take out an agent in the tunnels, and rush into the wasteland. Going off into the night to fight Deacon felt way more epic than my story just ending in Railroad HQ. A shock betrayal, the possibility for revenge. 2 highly trained operatives going toe-to-toe while the flames of the Prydwen dance on the horizon. It just felt like the end of a movie like Heat, or like a Frank Castle-Billy Russo duel at the carousel was about to go down.
We got some fine bots in this race. Piece of junk is really showing off those new mods.
But like all things reverse pickpocket, our moment of glory is, well, yeah. I thought he deserved a bottle cap mine at least. Those lunchboxes aren't easy to find. Back in the Institute, I get closure with my son, I truly am the world's best mom, and I beat Fallout 4 by only reverse pickpocketing explosives. But wait, why on earth did I lug around the Fat Man and Mini Nuke? Well, we didn't need it this time, but I thought of a situation where I have to save scum reverse pickpocket it onto someone with a mini nuke so I could get them to take out an unpickpocketable target by accident. I actually tried this with Kellogg, but in that situation the blast was too strong for me to tank it or take cover. Better to be over-prepared, and you'll never guess what happened after I tested finishing the game with other factions, but first, before I tell you that, check out these stats. It took me 20 hours and 53 minutes to do this after heading downstairs to put on my shades. I exploded 105 pairs of pants, including 8 murders, and completed 29 quests. Could have been way faster, but I had a lot of fun. Now maybe you can complete things with the Minutemen, but thinking of all the enemies like the Mirelurk Queen and other creatures and so on, I just didn't pursue it, especially with the problem I was having where I seemingly couldn't pickpocket the raiders at the start of the game, and I don't think I'd be able to kill that Deathclaw either. If you side with the Railroad though, the Insider Synth tells you, okay, just kill everyone in the relay room first and we can get started, but then none of them are pickpocketable, nor was he when I tried to use him for collateral damage, not that he'd be able to kill everyone in the room like that anyway. And when I tested siding with the Institute to kill the Brotherhood, I was unable to destroy the generators at the airport even by exploding the pocket of someone right next to one, though a single punch would destroy it, if you don't count those punches as cheap initiating the challenge, it was still near impossible to keep all the Brotherhood swarming over the airport from killing the virus Synth that gets onto Liberty Prime to hack it. Even though it respawns, it just kept dying, and then Maxton showed up and he wasn't pickpocketable, so it just felt a bit nuts. It took hours of failing when I first tested this, and I thought it wasn't doable, but I didn't get footage and had to do it again, this time managing to get lucky and bullet sponge enough to succeed. Though remember, this still does require you to unleash unarmed punches on the generators, which some might consider cheating. I didn't try siding with the Brotherhood, but could imagine difficulties with maybe needing to shoot from a vertibird and perhaps similar issues with destroying the Institute if certain characters and enemies aren't pickpocketable. Most people aren't crazy enough to find out anyway. Like and subscribe if it deserves it, and let me know what challenge you want to see on FudgeMuppet next.